All right, everyone, welcome to today's live stream. It is, let me just double check we are live. I think we are. Okay, good to connect with you today, December 1st, 2025. Got a special song for you right now.
Children laughing, people passing, meeting smile after smile, and on every street corner you hear silver bells, silver bells, it's Christmas.
Oh, silver. I hope you have some silver bells there because they are looking good, going up in value quickly. We're going to talk about the silver market today. And as you can see right now, we got the Dow down 223, half a point, NASDAQ down $40. Kind of a choppy day, but the big story is silver. Look at this, 59.03 US an ounce, up 3.26%. It was a little higher earlier today. Just rocking. Hope you have some silver. Hope you've been stacking silver. I've been talking about it all year. It's had an incredible year. As we look at the chart, look at silver. I mean, all-time high, y'all. This is an all-time high. And up 9.82%. I think this includes Friday's trading as well. Gold up slightly, 1.83. Everything's moving higher, but silver is definitely outperforming gold. So why, right? Why is this going on? I liked this article from the Wall Street Journal. Silver hits record highs on U.S. rate cut bets. I don't think that's the full story here. I think the full story is right here, supply tightness. I think that's the main, really what's going on with silver. It says silver prices climbed to an all-time high on Monday as expectations that the Fed will cut interest rates further this month and persistent concerns over global supply tightness sparked a fresh rally. In afternoon European trade, silver futures in New York were up 1.2, 57.86 a troy ounce after hitting an intraday high of 58.61. Spot prices gained 1.7%, 57.35 an ounce, reaching 57.88. Prices have soared 99% this year, outpacing both gold and platinum. Now, I don't know if you'd heard, but Friday there was an alleged power outage at the CME Group's data headquarters in Illinois. It said due to a 10-hour outage. I think it was just a 1-hour outage. But here's the, kind of the odd thing. It said caused by a cooling system failure because they said there was just so much volume and trading going on. That is absolutely not the case. Friday, the day after the U.S. Thanksgiving, is one of the slowest trading days of the year. And that's in stocks, commodities, like anything and everything. Everything slowed right down. So, I'm not really buying that. I think they try to throttle back the surge in pricing, but it's still moving higher. And then it goes on to talk about the Fed policymakers. But, this issue, this story really skirts the whole issue of supply tightness. That is what is driving this incredible surge in silver and gold prices. Silver mostly. Silver is really making this huge move, and it feels like somewhat of a short squeeze here. Because remember, in the summer, so many banks and institutions were short silver, thinking it was overvalued, expecting it to go lower. And at some point, when they're short, they have to cover those shorts. And I think really that's the story of what's happening. I've been talking about silver for a bit here. My most recent price target was 65 an ounce. I mean, I think that's right in front of us, literally. Like if we're sitting at 58, I think we're going to see 65. We could definitely see it by year end, if not sooner, depending on how quickly this short squeeze plays out. But if you can see on this chart, you really see what's called a cup and handle formation. This sort of looks like a cup, and if you draw a line across it, you see a cup and then a little bit of a handle. Whenever you see that type of technical indicators on a chart, it means that asset, whatever it is, a stock, commodity, crypto, is moving higher. So always look for those cup and handle patterns. This was a 45-year in the making cup and handle. So that's why we're going to see silver continue to just track higher and higher and higher for many reasons. But from a technical perspective, the chart looks amazing. And from the supply side, everything's an economic supply and demand. The demand far outweighs the supply. Remember, silver has real utilitarian value. It's in AI, it's in computers, it's in a lot of things that we use on a daily basis. So weekly earnings, got them across the board from banks this week to technology, GitLab, CrowdStrike, Salesforce, Dollar Tree. So we've got literally across the board. The banks are going to be the interesting ones because we got to really pay attention to those to see if they're talking about loan defaults. A lot of in the news lately talk about even BlackRock's loan default is something like 100% of the loans that they have on their balance sheet are in default. And that is, that's a real concern if we look at a company like BlackRock, and we have to see what these other banks are doing. But very similar setup to 08, 07, 08, part of 09 with the banks, where they talked about the narrative was around loan defaults and things like that. So we really need to pay attention and see what is going to be happening with these banks, what they are saying regarding their balance sheet, the health of their balance sheet. Allegedly, they're always under scrutiny by the regulators, but how closely are the regulators watching now? Let's hope they are on top of this, but just goes to show, and also the move in silver and gold is telling us something, right? That's really telling us that things are not as rosy in the economy as the narrative in the press as they want us to believe. So we need to keep an eye on this and prepare for it. So how do you prepare for it? Of course, buying silver coins. And I'm talking the coinage, not anything else. Forget the bars, things like that. Just simply buy coins. You can store, this is the company that I go through, silvergoldbull.ca. You can store them with them. They're happy to store your coins. Or you can take possession of them, take delivery of the coins. And I just think it's a solid, prudent strategy to have long term. In a world where there's so much uncertainty, crypto selling off big time. Look at Bitcoin down almost 7% just today to 85,000. That's a huge drop. And I don't know. I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and he was asking me, well, do you like crypto? What are you doing with crypto? And I said, well, we sold ours at the beginning of the year and rolled that money into gold and silver. So it's he's like, well, that was the smartest move. I said, well, it was a move that just felt right at the time. Sometimes you really have to go with your gut instinct and your feelings about things. And if on one hand that the narrative around the economy that they keep telling us is, rosy and best ever and yada yada, but when you really look at the reality, things aren't as rosy as we've been told. And what asset class will perform well in a challenging economic environment? Commodities, gold, especially silver. When you look at the gold to silver ratio, it's still quite high. If it were to come down, that's putting silver compared to gold prices at $200, potentially $250 an ounce. So we know it's extremely undervalued. It continues to be held down and suppressed. The price of silver has always been suppressed. But now there's a little bit of a breakout here, and I think this breakout is a sign of good things to come. So how do you play it from a stock market point of view? You purchase a company like this. First Majestic Silver Corp. This stock showed up on our on the Stock Rockets recently. Look at this chart. Looks like the hockey stick, but don't let that deter you, because we still have a strong RSI and a relatively low MFI, right? Sitting at 57.66. That's a sweet spot. I still think there's a lot more room to go in this. So have a look. This is how there are also shares on the Toronto Exchange. Is it ag.to? Is that right? Yeah. If you're a Canadian and looking to buy, it's in Canadian dollars, so you don't have to convert to US. But nevertheless, there it is. First Majestic Silver for the Canadians to buy as well. All right, everyone. Hope this helps. Have a fantastic week. I'll see you next Monday.